The maximum CPP payment for new retirees at age 65 is $1,507.65 per month. That is the number on the government website. That is the number that gets shared in articles. That is the number that most Canadians think of when they think about what CPP pays. Ambito. And here is the number that almost nobody talks about. The average CPP payment for new retirement beneficiaries at age 65 is approximately $803.76 per month. Retiro Strategico, $703.89 per month, less than the maximum, every single month, for the rest of your life. Not because the government reduced your payment, not because something went wrong, because the way CPP is calculated means that most Canadians, people who worked for decades, paid into the system every paycheck, did exactly what they were supposed to do, end up receiving barely half of what the maximum pays, and almost none of them know why. Stay with me, because before this video ends, I'm going to show you exactly why the gap between the average and the maximum exists, which 5 decisions during your working years determine where your payment lands on that scale, and the one step that thousands of Canadians take every year that permanently locks in a lower payment they can never increase without ever realizing what they did. And there is something at the end of this video that almost nobody explains about CPP, a provision built into the program that can increase your payment even after you have already started collecting. Most people who qualify for it have never been told it exists. Subscribe right now and hit the bell. CPP payment rules are changing with every year of enhancement, and Service Canada does not personally explain how your specific contribution history affects where your payment lands. Subscribe now. Now let me show you exactly why you are likely receiving less than the maximum and what you can actually do about it. Hook number 2, and this is the number that should make you stop. Starting this year, the maximum monthly CPP payment for those starting their pension at age 65 is $1,507.65, up from $1,433 last year. That is $18,091.80 per year from CPP alone for someone who receives the maximum. Ambito, the average new CPP retirement pension at 65 is $925.35 per month as of January 2026. That is $11,104.20 per year. El Heraldo de Mexico. The gap between the maximum and the average is $6,987.60 per year. Every year, from the day you retire to the day you die. On a 20-year retirement, that gap is $139,752 in lifetime income. From the same program for people who both worked their entire careers and both contributed to CPP every single year. Tell me in the comments right now, do you know approximately how much CPP you receive or are expected to receive? And did anyone ever explain to you why your amount is different from the maximum of $1,507.65 per month? Yes or no? Drop your province below. Hook number 3. Here's what almost nobody explains about how CPP actually works, and why the gap is much harder to close than most people think. CPP is not a savings account. It is not a number that reflects how many years you worked. It is a formula DAS, and that formula has 5 variables. Every single one of those variables can permanently reduce your payment below the maximum, and most people who receive less than the maximum have never been shown which of the 5 variables is responsible for their lower number. Here is the formula in plain language. To receive the maximum CPP payment, you need to have made the max CPP contribution each year for at least 39 years. That is the first variable, years of maximum contribution. Not just years of contribution, years of maximum contribution. A year where you earned below the maximum pensionable earnings, $74,600 in 2026 DAOs, is a year where your contribution was below the maximum, and a year below the maximum contribution is a year that pulls your average down. Retiro Strategico. Here is the second variable. The age you start collecting. Starting CPP early permanently reduces your pension. For every month you collect before age 65, your payment is reduced by 0.6% permanently. Starting at age 60, the earliest you can collect, reduces your CPP by 36% for life. On a payment that would have been $1,507.65 at 65, a 36% reduction means you receive $964.89 per month for the rest of your life, with no ability to reverse that decision once the payments have started. And unlike wine, waiting gets better. For every month you delay past 65 to up to age 70, your payment increases by 0.7% per month. Waiting until 70 adds 42% permanently. $1,507.65 becomes $2,140.87 per month for the same contribution history, just by waiting 5 more years. Ambito. The third variable is the dropout provision, and this one surprises people. CPP automatically drops out your lowest earning years from the calculation to protect people who had gaps in their career. The general dropout provision removes up to 17% of your lowest earning months automatically. But there is a specific dropout that most people never apply for, even though they qualify for it, called the child rearing dropout provision. Many Canadians fail to apply for the child rearing provision, which can increase their pension. If you were the primary caregiver for a child under 7 years old and your earnings dropped during that period, Service Canada will exclude those low-earning years from your CPP calculation, effectively treating those years as if they did not exist, which raises your average and increases your lifetime payment. This is not automatic. It requires an application. It applies to both men and women who were the primary caregiver, and it can meaningfully increase a CPP payment for anyone whose career had a gap or reduced earning period due to raising children. Retiro estratégico. The fourth variable is the disability dropout. If you were receiving CPP disability benefits at any point in your career, those years are automatically excluded from the retirement pension calculation. You do not need to apply for this separately. It happens automatically when your disability pension converts to a retirement pension. But many people who had a period of disability during their working years and who did not receive CPP disability benefits because they did not know they qualified or did not apply are carrying those low-earning years in their CPP calculation unnecessarily. The fifth variable is the post-retirement benefit, and this is the one at the end of this video that I told you almost nobody explains. Each year, a valid contribution is made to the CPP. While a retirement pension is received, the person becomes eligible for a post-retirement benefit in January of the following year, and thus can receive more than one PRB. Ambito. In plain language, if you are currently collecting CPP and you are still working, every year you continue contributing to CPP adds a permanent additional monthly payment to your retirement pension the following January. You do not have to stop working to collect CPP. You do not have to choose between contributing and receiving. Both happen simultaneously, and every year of continued contribution while receiving CPP adds to your lifetime payment, permanently indexed to inflation, for as long as you live. If you retired and then returned to part-time work, or if you are still working while collecting CPP and you have not verified whether your post-retirement benefits are appearing in your monthly deposit, you may be missing additional payments you have already earned through continued contributions. Canadians who work with retirement income planners have someone who models all 5 of these variables before they apply for CPP and confirms the optimal claiming age, the dropout provisions that apply to their specific history, and whether post-retirement benefits are accumulating correctly. Many retirees say the pension increase falls short. Prices for essentials such as groceries, gas, and housing remain far higher than they were before the pandemic, raising concerns that seniors may have to dip into their savings sooner than expected or rethink their retirement plans altogether. Most Canadians apply for CPP because they reach 65 or because they need the income, without ever modeling what waiting or applying for a dropout provision or continuing to contribute would have added to their lifetime payment. Now you know before that decision is made or before that opportunity closes. Ambito. Now here is the part. Most coverage of the CPP gap completely misses, and this one involves a connection between your CPP amount and your GIS entitlement that can create a situation where a higher CPP payment actually leaves you worse off overall if nobody explains how the two programs interact. GIS, the Guaranteed Income Supplement, is available to low-income seniors and reduces by 50 cents for every dollar of income above the base threshold. CPP counts as income for GIS purposes. That means a senior who receives a higher CPP payment may receive a lower GIS payment, and in some cases the net effect on their total monthly income is smaller than they expected because every additional CPP dollar they receive costs them 50 cents of GIS. For many retirees, delaying CPP provides a higher guaranteed lifetime income, and it may also help you keep more of income-tested benefits like Guaranteed Income Supplement and Old Age Security. Retiro estratégico. This is the calculation that most people never run before they decide when to start collecting CPP. If you qualify for GIS, or if you might qualify once you stop working and your income drops, the decision about when to start CPP is not just about the CPP amount. It is about how that CPP amount interacts with every other income-tested benefit you receive or could receive. And that interaction is different for every person depending on their specific income picture. In real numbers, a senior whose only income is CPP of $800 per month and OAS of $742 receives a combined monthly income that qualifies them for significant GIS. Increasing their CPP by $200 per month through delayed claiming would increase their gross income by $200, but reduce their GIS by $100 simultaneously. The net gain is $100 per month, not $200. Understanding that interaction before the claiming decision is worth real money. You had no idea this connection existed at this level of detail. Most people find out only when they compare their total monthly deposit to what they expected and realize the math does not add up the way the CPP numbers alone suggested. Did you know that increasing your CPP through delayed claiming reduces your GIS by 50 cents for every additional CPP dollar you receive, and that for low-income seniors, the net gain from delaying CPP may be significantly smaller than the gross CPP increase suggests? Drop your answer below right now. I want to know how many people watching this had no idea CPP and GIS were connected in this way. 3 steps you can complete this week. Step 1. Log into my Service Canada account at canada.ca and look at your CPP statement of contributions. This shows every year of your working life, the earnings recorded for that year, and whether any years are excluded by dropout provisions. Compare the earnings shown to what you actually earned in each year. If any year shows earnings significantly below what you earned because of a reporting error by an employer, you can request a correction. And if you were the primary caregiver for a child under 7 years old during any period in your career, ask Service Canada specifically about the child rearing dropout provision and whether it has been applied to your calculation. Step 2. If you have not yet started collecting CPP and you are between 60 and 70, use the Canadian Retirement Income Calculator available through the Service Canada website to model your CPP payment at different starting ages. Specifically, compare your payment at 65 versus your payment at 70. And then model how each amount interacts with your expected GIS entitlement at each income level. That calculation tells you the net effect on your total monthly income, not just the gross CPP number. Call Service Canada at 1-800-277-9914 and ask them to confirm what your estimated CPP payment would be at age 65 and at age 70 based on your current contribution history. That phone call takes 15 minutes and can clarify a decision worth tens of thousands of dollars. Step 3. If you are currently collecting CPP and you are still working, ask Service Canada to confirm that your post-retirement benefits from continued contributions are appearing in your monthly deposit. Each year of continued contributions while receiving CPP should add a small but permanent additional monthly payment starting in January of the following year. If you have been working and contributing for years while receiving CPP and your monthly deposit has not increased, verify that those post-retirement benefits are being calculated and applied correctly. One more thing before we close. Service Canada will never call you demanding an immediate decision about when to start collecting CPP under threat of reduced payments. They will never ask for gift cards or wire transfers to process a CPP application. They will never ask for your social insurance number by email to confirm your contribution history. If you receive any contact like that, hang up immediately and call Service Canada directly at 1-800-277-9914. Real CPP decisions happen through your My Service Canada account or through an official application, not through phone calls with urgent demands. What surprised you most in this video was that the gap between the average CPP of $925 and the maximum of $1,507 that adds up to nearly $140,000 over a 20-year retirement, the child-rearing dropout provision that most eligible Canadians have never applied for, the post-retirement benefit that grows your CPP every year you keep working after 65, or the GIS interaction that means a higher CPP may only add 50 cents on the dollar to your total monthly income. Drop your answer and your province in the comments right now. I read every single one. And if this video helped you, hit the like button right now. 1 second. It is the only way this reaches the next person who is about to claim CPP without knowing which of those 5 variables is reducing their payment below the maximum. While the maximum CPP payment for new retirees at age 65 is $1,507.65 per month, the average CPP payment for new retirement beneficiaries at age 65 is approximately $803.76 per month. That gap is not random. It is the accumulated result of 5 variables: years of maximum contribution, claiming age, dropout provisions applied or not applied, disability history, and post-retirement benefits earned or missed. Every one of those variables was set during your working years or at the moment you applied. Most of them cannot be changed after the fact, but some of them, the dropout provisions, the post-retirement benefit, the decision about when to start claiming if you have not started yet, those are still open. Retire a Strategico. Now you know which ones they are, and you know the phone number to call. I am Henry Jaden. Take care of yourself.